Okay, so I have been totally neglecting YouTube. I've been so busy. So I don't have a lot of time today either because I have to do my makeup for my podcast and I have to get out of here pretty quick and film a little bit of the content before I leave. So I'm going to just do kind of an unedited makeup. I'm doing my makeup. You get to watch. We'll talk about products while I do it, kind of thing. So if that interests you, stay tuned. I'm going to start with some lip balm. My lips are so dry. So I'm really loving this mango, people. I feel like I don't really hear much about it. Honestly, the only reason I even picked it up was because it was a Sephora sale and it was supposed to have mango butter and I love mangoes. So, and that may be a very stupid reason to buy a lip balm, but I did and I'm enjoying it. Okay, I tried a different skincare product the other day and I clearly had a reaction. So my skin is not in its perfect state at this point. So we are going to have to do a little work to try and get rid of some of this. So I'm going to, what I typically do is use my Herborian Red Correct. I've already obviously done my skincare. Oh, you know what? Hold on. Before we do the Herborian, I already have it on my finger and everything, but I've got a little bit of loveliness that I need to address. Y'all, this is probably going to be a little bit chaotic because this is literally just going to be me uncut trying to do my makeup and get out the door. Because I am supposed to meet my friend to film our podcast called We're 40 Now. And we just got a podcast space. So, and he and I are both very busy people. So we don't have a lot of time where we can film together. So, I am obviously using a... good lord, bad choices, oh well. I'm obviously using a microblade. I also have like one of the electrical ones, but I've been busy and I haven't used it. But I will tell you, as someone with facial hair, oh god, as someone who has some facial hair, I mean, don't we all at this point in our 40s? Did I mention this is going to be a little chaotic? I'm not even going to cut it. Normally I cut all this out so you just get to see like the polished version. But I'm not going to because I am getting so bogged down with editing, guys. And I need to get a second camera so that I can film both vertical and horizontal format at the same time. Because as of right now, lately, YouTube has been getting the short end of the stick. So, just because I'm building a lot faster on TikTok and Instagram, so, but I need to show YouTube some attention. So, I think we're probably going to have more of these sometimes. If that's cool with y'all. So, okay. I love this Herborian Red Correct. Obviously, you can see I had some really significant redness. Now, I have been working on my rosacea with my skincare and I've been doing pretty good. But like I said, I tried something new and it seemed like it was not a gamble because I normally spot test. But this one was a brand that I've used, a line that I've used, and I checked all the ingredients and I've never had a problem before. But this one I did. So let's move on. Okay. I need to quickly decide how I'm going to do my makeup today, what foundation I'm going to use. I feel like I need maybe a little bit more coverage. I think maybe trying to decide, do I want to do the Chanel or the YSL? These are questions, guys. These are questions. I think I am going to use a little bit of the Danessa Myricks Blurring Balm Powder underneath. So I have finally figured out how I like using this. I have the tinted, but you can just get the universal, because honestly, to use it properly, you use so little. So I honestly just really like to use it on just my high cheekbones where I tend to have the larger pores. And I find that going in with my finger is like the only way that I actually like the way it looks. So, if you're like a makeup artist, I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't know if it's a combination of a better control of the amount of product plus the warmth of the hand. I'm not really sure, but I find that pretty much the only time that I like the way that it looks is whenever I go in with my hand. So, just gonna put a little. I do find that it does a good job of kind of tried different skincare, and I think it's peeling a little bit. Okay, we're gonna be very cautious. I was gonna say, so I do find that the blurring balm powder, I feel like, does a decent job of kind of gliding over some of those wrinkles. So if you don't want, much in the way of wrinkles, it does a good job of kind of like keeping that from being like a focal point. So I just kind of lightly add a little in my more wrinkly areas, just so we can have kind of a bit of a glide. Now I need to figure out quickly what kind of products I'm going in with here, because I haven't even decided yet. Like I said, I'm really flying by the seat of my pants today, and y'all are going to get to watch it in real time. So, and I'm going to be on camera because I'm going to be filming a podcast with my best friend. We've been friends for over 20 years, and we just started a podcast called We're 40 Now. And I am very much looking forward to it. He and I always have a good time. It's kind of imagine just brunch with your friends. And you're 40. But yeah, it's a good time. I'm enjoying it. So obviously I'm plucking my eyebrows. I know I could use the microblade, but to be perfectly honest, I am nervous about the microblade for my eyebrows because I'm afraid I'm gonna like accidentally like take off like a patch and then I'm gonna look crazy. And I just don't want that to happen, and I'm too scared. So that's basically the whole reason that I do not microblade my eyebrows. And I still pluck them because I have more control. Okay. Ooh, Lord have mercy. We are already 10 minutes in. Okay, we gotta get moving. So one thing I'm gonna do, so see how, I don't know if you can tell, but I've got a little bit of peeling from my skincare. I tried something different underneath. So I just used like a clean powder brush to kind of get off some of that excess. Okay. Sorry for that brief pause. Let's keep going. Okay, so now I'm still basically, I don't have anything going on here. Let's see, I've still got some moisture here. Okay. So let's go in with my brightener, I think maybe. Let's do some Cali Ray. I'm going to use some Cali Ray Hideaway brightener. And I'm just going to kind of get some of that under my eyes real quick. I'll let that dry down a little bit before I continue. And then I'm thinking I need some decent coverage because I do still have quite a bit of redness. I think the YSL has a little more coverage. This one is the all hours, and sadly, I just picked it up on a like super duper sale, and I am pretty sure that it is being reformulated, which is why it was on such sale, and that I guess they're gonna make it look different. I don't know. But it's called a luminous matte, and I'm actually really loving it, and I'm kind of sad that I never tried it before. But it just, I don't know. I had lots of skin issues, and to be honest, I had a really hard time with makeup for many years, which is part of why I started this channel. Because I kind of feel like as I got into my late 30s, that I was definitely not alone in that. So, and that a lot of women were kind of struggling with the same issues. And so that's kind of what inspired me to start the channel. So I'm using a Rare Beauty makeup brush, foundation brush, that I'm really enjoying. I got this back when they launched that new matte foundation, and yeah, I'm really enjoying it. Okay, foundation's on, and if you're wondering why I've left that brightener, it's because I just like it to kind of dry down a touch before I blend it out. That Cali Ray is a really, really thin brightener, so I find that I like it best if I let it dry down a touch. And I'm just using the BK Beauty N19, which I kind of am finding it to be my perfect concealer brush these days. So, okay, foundation's down. I like this one for coverage, but I do notice that I do have a little bit of pore action. So, we're going to do some adjustments in a bit. Okay. Wipe my hand before I end up wearing all of that makeup on my clothes. Loveliness. Okay. I need to figure out what the heck I'm going to do for eyeshadow today. I'm trying to decide what kind of look I want to do. I think I just want to go kind of cool tone, easygoing maybe. Okay. I think I'm going to use this Morphe 3-pan. I have been really loving the Morphe palettes lately. I'm sure that there's lots of people with lots of opinions about Morphe compared to others, but honestly, I like the quality of the shadows. They still have a really nice pigment load, and the price point's really nice. So honestly, I don't have any complaints. Now, I do think this foundation is maybe a touch warm for me, so we may have to make a few little adjustments, but that's fine. We're going to make it work. Because I am trying to get out the door. So I'm just using the lightest shade all over my lid. Kind of trying to neutralize some of this. Okay. Yeah, you can tell the cool tone versus the warm. It's fine. We're going to make it work. Okay, now I think I'm going to go in with... I think I'm going to do a little bit of this dark shade along my lash line here. I will say too, I'm kind of impressed at the Morphe shadows for not having a ton of fallout, because I feel like fallout is, when you start buying less expensive shadows, I feel like fallout is one of those things that you're kind of like compromising, right? Like, and I don't love that, but tis what it is. Okay, so I'm going to stop on the eyes for a second. I'm going to go ahead and go in with a little bit of bronzer and contour both. I'm going to use the L'Oreal, the Lumi Bronze, and I'm just going to do a touch. I don't want to do a lot because honestly, like I said, this is already kind of warm, so I don't want to go crazy here. I just want to add a little depth and dimension. Dun, dun, dun. But I think I am going to add some speed ups in here. Just because I feel bad. And y'all don't even know me yet, and I'm sure y'all are not entertained by me at this point. And I would feel bad not, like, giving y'all a break from some of this monotonous blending here. Unless I'm wrong and y'all are just really enjoying it. Like, maybe I'm on in the background while you're working or something. Making dinner. Which I will say, since I have you here, I actually just launched another giveaway that'll be running for, I think it's a little less than 2 weeks. I think 10 days or something. From hopefully the time I can actually get this posted. So, I do regular giveaways on my pages. So if you're interested, you can enter. I definitely usually post all the giveaway information on my TikTok and Instagram pages, and I'll try and post it here on the YouTube as well. And I'm just using some of the Dior contour stick for my lovely double chin area because I don't need to emphasize. I already have a bit of a soft jawline, so one thing that I do that I feel like helps me make my routine go a little bit faster is I do tend to I'm losing my train of thought, you guys. Oh goodness. I do tend to keep like a separate bronzer and contour brush that way, because obviously I am not washing my brushes every time. I wash them regularly, but I'm not washing them every time I use them, so that way I don't have to worry about crossing over on the ingredients. Now this is the Victoria Beckham, what is this one called? Color Wash, and this one is in Vintage Rose. And it's kind of like this berry color, so I really like it. And one thing I will do is I'll go up under my eye. That way I can get like a softer blend, especially once I've put on my concealer, because I still haven't put on my concealer yet. And I feel like it just creates, I hate that like stark contrast of like, this is my under eye, this is my cheek. Like I hate that. Not a fan, so. And I feel like this one gives me a nice like kind of natural wash of color. It may look a little heavy-handed right now, but we are going to finish it off and it's not going to. It's going to look much softer. Which I will say, these are like super easy to use, super blendable. They last a long time. I really am a fan. I do like a water stain though. I am partial to a water stain. Because they're not heavy on the skin at all, which I have dry skin, so it's not like a more oily product is problematic for me, because it's not. But maybe just a touch more for evenness. Okay. It's trying to decide if this is a lighting issue or it's a little uneven. I think it's a little darker on this side. So I'm going to add just a touch more here. Not a lot. And I promise, I know this looks heavy-handed, but we are going to soften. Okay. So that's done. Now I'm going to go in with my concealer, and today I am going to be using the Charlotte Tilbury. I am still kind of testing this one out and trying to decide how I feel about it. So far, I feel like I am enjoying it. However, I do feel like it's one of these like a little bit goes a long way products. So I'm trying to be very judicious with the amount that I use as well as my placement. So I'm gonna go ahead, and this one is a drier formula. It's not like that Cali Ray, so I can go ahead and blend this one out right away without any issue. Okay, that's looking pretty good. Now, one thing I try to do whenever I'm doing my concealer is I try not to go right up under my lash line. Product will end up that direction anyhow, but I try to focus it lower, because the closer up under the lash line you get, the more wrinkles and the more emphasis you're going to end up with. But you don't really, if you're going to put shadow or liner or anything, like, you don't really need it. You just don't. Okay, so I've got that. So I think I'm going to go ahead and set my under eyes. And one thing I've been doing with my under eyes to set is I don't use powder. I use the Danessa Myricks liquid blurring balm spray, and this is a BK Beauty A506, which is kind of like a kitten paw that fits perfectly under the eye. And so I just press that setting spray onto my concealer, and I find that it behaves very similarly to a powder, but without the cakiness, dryness, creasing. And I have really dry under eyes, so I have to make sure that I am Like my under eyes, I can hydrate, and it still just, it can look cakey so quick. So this luminous matte does emphasize my pores a little bit more. So I'm gonna go in with my tried and true Hourglass powder. This one is a favorite. I have several powders that I like, but this one is probably my favorite one. So, and I find that this one tends to be the least, it tends to blur more than the others and emphasize way less. And again, I'm not going to set under the eye. I'm just going to set the rest of the face. Now, one thing I like about this one is it has right here. So what you can do, my favorite way to get it out, is put the lid on, just give it a light shake, and you get like just a tiny bit of powder. But honestly, like I don't need a lot less. I mean a lot more. So I'm just going to use what's left in this cap here. But it honestly is one of the best designs, like packaging designs for powder, because I feel like I lose less powder this way and I get it where I want it and it doesn't just go everywhere. Some of these powders, you know, they are pricey, and you know, you, as soon as you open them, half your powder is everywhere, and so not only are you wearing it, but you just wasted a bunch of product, and I dislike that immensely. So I'm a big fan of the packaging on that one. Okay, since I have already powdered, I'm going to go ahead and set, and I think today I'm going to use my Charlotte Tilbury. So I'm going to go ahead and give it a good solid spray all over. And you want to make sure you're really well coated, and you don't just like spray like a couple spritzes like in one spot, because you're not going to love the way that that looks. Okay, so while that dries down, I like to do my eyebrows. So I'm going to use the NYX Blade and Shade. And you'll probably notice here that I'm using quite a variety of products. I'm not using like all drugstore or all prestige. I do find that I like a lot of different products from different brands. And I will say, like, when it comes to complexion, sorry, when it comes to complexion, I don't tend to lean drugstore. I don't know if it's just like a formula thing, if it's a R&D thing. I'm not quite sure. I feel like drugstore just doesn't perform as well as prestige overall. I mean, there are exceptions always, but just in general, I'm not as happy with the drugstore foundations and concealers. But, and I would say mascaras, that's another one that I think people, probably a lot of people would disagree with me on. I have never been a drugstore mascara fan. I feel like that you spend, like, they're not cheap. Like, the good ones at the drugstore are still not cheap. And I feel like they dry out faster. And I don't like the performance as much. And so I end up having a product I don't like as much as my prestige product, and I have to buy it more frequently. So I don't really feel like I get much savings. Oh, this is my Rare Beauty Brow Gel. I don't have the tinted one, I just have the clear one. And actually, I was gonna try the tinted one, but then I ended up getting 2 clear ones at different times free. One for my Ulta birthday gift and another one from some gift set that was sent to me. So I'm set on Rare Beauty Brow Gel for I don't know how long. So unless somebody wants to give me the tinted one, I'm probably not going to buy it. Okay, I'm going to go back to my eyes now that my makeup is mostly set. And I'm going to... I think I'm going to put some of this darker shade a little bit in the crease. I'm not as big of a fan of like crease blending these days because I feel like sometimes it just makes me look older. But I'm going to use this BK Beauty N20S and just kind of really diffuse all of that darker shade. And just get like a nice kind of soft all over color. One thing I will say that I've noticed is when I upgraded some of my brushes, it made my makeup techniques immediately look more more professional, and also made my my makeup just look better. Now, I'm not saying you have to go buy like all new brushes or you have to spend a fortune. Just a couple of like key brushes for key things, I think that's all you need. Now I'm going to go in with a glittery one, and I'm trying to decide. I think I'm just going to go with standard. So I'm just going to use a finger to apply this kind of shimmery shade there, because I don't think I need it to be too much. Especially because my co-host will not be wearing makeup, so I don't want to look like so much next to him. I can't even get him to do skincare, so he's definitely not going to wear makeup. I should get him to let me do his makeup one day. I feel like that could be fun. He would probably hate it. Which, if you haven't seen our podcast yet, it probably hasn't been posted yet. I'm going to post this before the podcast is posted. We've actually filmed like, I don't know, 6-8 episodes, something like that. But we haven't posted any yet. We've been kind of like figuring out our location and our, everything. So we're kind of still figuring it all out. So but we're getting it down now. Which, the good thing is, I feel like sometimes these people start podcasts and they like don't even know each other, and it just doesn't have a vibe. But we've known each other forever, and ours definitely has a vibe. Okay. So I am gonna I want to get some new eyeliners, honestly. But I feel like, so I really only like the Victoria Beckham liners, and it's not because I'm bougie, it's because I have really dry skin, and I just have the hardest time getting some of these other eyeliners to glide the way I want them to. But I feel like I'm never disappointed in the Victoria Beckham, but I want something a little brighter. Maybe I'm going to try this Laura Mercier one. I haven't tried her in a while. Let's give her a shot again. I got her on a clearance, actually. Yeah, see, like, they don't come off. Like, it makes me feel like I'm crazy. Okay, forget it. I'm going back to Victoria. Victoria never fails me. You know what I do want to do, though? I do want to try the Sarah Creel. That I do. Where is my Victoria Beckham in Orchid? Where are you? No. Okay. Am I crazy? Which one is this one? This one's Cocoa Pave. Is this Orchid? There's Orchid. Okay. Sorry, I have several Victoria Beckham eyeliners because, as I probably previously mentioned, they are indeed my favorite. I need to sharpen her. Okay. I have got to clean up my vanity at some point. This is getting a bit ridiculous. I will use a handheld mirror so you guys can actually see. So I'm obviously at my vanity, but I have a giant like studio light covering the majority of my big mirror, which isn't the end of the world because, to be perfectly honest, like, I can't see that far away anyways. Like, I could only just kind of see. But I have like a vanity, like a little round vanity mirror on my vanity as well. But sorry, I'm not letting you see it. Not intentional. I can barely see. Okay. I guess I'm gonna go behind the mirror for a second. But I promise I'm still here. You know what's interesting is it's not just the distance thing. I don't know if anybody else has this, but as I'm getting older, my eyes just do not change their focus as easily as they used to. And I find it very annoying. And I feel like that's not something I normally hear about, but it is 100% a problem I have. Now I'm going to go very light under the eye because I don't like a heavy liner under the eye. Don't get me wrong. I did grow up in the 90s and I definitely did like heavy, thick black liner under my eyes, but it's not the 90s anymore. These days I definitely like a softer look. Plus, I feel like a softer look is actually more youthful looking. So, not that I think that I'm fooling anyone, but okay. So I've got my eyeliner on. I'm going to go ahead and do just a little bit of this softer color over my eyeliner on the underside, just to kind of brighten. And set. So nothing crazy, just a tiny bit. You know what I do wish they would do though with eyeshadows? The only person I've known that's done it is Victoria Beckham. But why don't they make the like lighter shades, the shades that are intended to be like the all over shades, why don't they make those shades a bigger size pan and make the other pans? Because I'm like, don't get me wrong, I mean, I have a hard time finishing off my eyeshadow palettes, but if I did finish off my eyeshadow palettes, I feel like I would kill off all those light pans first. So, okay, now what do we need to do? I need mascara, but other than that, I definitely have some of this going on, so we need to add a little bronzer here. Something. Okay, let's do... Maybe I'll just add a little powder. Okay, let's pull out our hourglass. Okay, this is the ambient powders. So I think I'm going to just go over I need to get just the plain ambient powders, because I only have this palette, and then I have like a Hourglass blush that I really like, but I need to get like just the ambient powder, because I feel like that would be something I could really use in my arsenal, so to speak. I'm gonna go in with kind of this glowy bronzy shade a little bit along my neck, just really light, kind of diffuse some of that color. Since this foundation is a touch warm on me. And then I think I'm gonna go in with just a light dusting of the blush. I like the Mood Exposure is my favorite Hourglass blush. I truly, truly adore it. Just a tiny bit. Okay. I know it looks a little drama right now, but I don't have eyelashes done and I don't have my lips on, so it'll be fine. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and curl my eyelashes. Now I'm going to be using the Dior 4D Lash Primer. I cannot say enough good things about this lash primer. I adore it. Like, I absolutely adore it. It is one of my favorite things on the planet Earth. And if people ask me what one makeup item I just love and is my absolute favorite, that would be it. I love it so much. Because not only does it really help to prep my lashes for the mascara, it makes the mascara, which I only use tubing mascara, but it makes the mascara come off easier, and in addition, it keeps the mascara on longer. And then it also, I think, has definitely helped my lashes grow like longer, thicker, you know, fuller. Just, they're looking so much more amazing, and I am just loving it. So when you apply this, they say to go in with your mascara right after. You don't need to let it dry it down. I'm going to, so I have this mini of the Victoria Beckham Fast Lash because I am out of my full size. And it is like, if you want a dramatic mascara, that is my absolute favorite. It's not just that it's a dramatic mascara, it is a tubing mascara, and it literally washes off with water. And it stays so well. And it makes my lashes look gorgeous and full. So my two favorite mascaras are the Victoria Beckham Fast Lash and the Hourglass Unlocked, I think it's called. It's the gold tube. But I'm out of my full size Victoria Beckham, and I had a bunch of these like travel size ones. So I pulled one of these guys out. So the wand is not as user friendly as obviously the full size wand, but the product inside is the same. And it makes my lashes look gorgeous. Which I always appreciate, because actually before a few years ago, I had basically quit wearing mascara because I had had no luck whatsoever with all these different mascaras. They were tearing up my lashes. when I would try and get them off, and then they would still crease and flake and not crease, flake and smear and smudge, and I was like, I'm just over mascara. My lashes were thinning, and I was like getting shorter and more brittle, and I was just like, every time I wore mascara, I felt like I was just losing what little bit I had left. So I had basically just quit wearing mascara. So now I feel like since I've started wearing tubing mascara, and especially since I found the Dior lash primer, it's just been a godsend. So my lashes look better even with no makeup, no mascara, nothing on. They're healthier than they've been. And I didn't wear mascara for like 3 years. So I'm a big fan. Okay. Now these are obviously, like I said, the Victoria Beckham Vast Lash does a more like dramatic lash, but I am going to be on camera today, so I'm going for it. But for a natural lash, I really like that Hourglass Unlocked. This one. Okay, so other than a lip, I think I'm pretty much done here. And I do my lips on the road. I don't usually do them at my vanity because I keep like more lip products than anyone should ever have in my purse. So, but anyways, this is my makeup look. I hope you enjoyed it. See you guys later.